Mm-mm. That's pretty good. Imagine you are you're sitting down, you're at a restaurant or something like that, and someone walks up to you and they have a plate of food. And they were instructed to give you this plate of food because the food was nourishing, it was refreshing, it was going to provide you with energy, with sustenance. And they were instructed to give you this food. And the food had the plate had all sorts of different things on it that was beneficial to you. All types of nutrients and vitamins and minerals and all these, essential things. And it was delicious too. Not only was it good for you, but it tasted good. And it was presented nice. The plating was real nice. The plate looked really good. Smelled wonderful. Had just a different array of different types of food groups and all that. And it was just a really whole and just filling meal. And right before that person slides the plate on the table to you, they have just a little bit of dust in this hand, and they sprinkle it just a little bit. That was it. Sprinkle that on, and then they slide the plate to you. Are you going to receive that plate, or are you going to reject it? More than likely, if you are a any person with just some any hint of common sense, you're going to be like, no, you know, I don't know what you did to that, why you put that on there, but it contaminated the entire plate, and I'm no longer able to receive what you were wanting me to receive. Now, keep in mind the nourishment that's in the plate is still there. All the benefits from the food groups is still there. All the all those the nutrients and the all those things that I named, that nourishment, that reviving, all of that is still there. But all of that is contaminated with just the smallest little sprinkle of just dirt or dust or whatever the case, right on top. Share that example because there's a lot of videos I see on YouTube where people are saying, "Thus says the Lord." There's a lot of people within the walk of Christ that are saying, "Thus says the Lord," and then they'll give their whole spiel. Nothing wrong with that if God is actually giving you that instruction and you actually gave what He instructed you to give. A lot of times, God may have people say, "Hey, take this plate, take it over to them, serve them this plate, serve them this plate this way so that they are able to receive it." We'll get over there with everything God entrusted us with and instructed us to do with the plate, and we'll be right there able to give it to them. And then we'll take a little bit of us and sprinkle it in there. And then we'll give her the plate. And more than likely, if this person is paying attention, has any level of common sense, they're going to reject that plate because you were disobedient. You put your own spin on it, and they're going to reject it. And they have every right to. It reminds me of when you were younger and you may have had a sibling and your mother gave you an instruction. Your sibling was probably outside or somewhere downstairs playing a game or something like that, and your mother wanted that sibling to come here, and your mother came to you and said, "Hey, go get Elroy and tell him to come upstairs right now." And at that moment you were operating not in your own authority but the authority of your mother, and that authority has a bit more weight and a bit more value to it. There's a bit more of an urgency that hits when that particular authority is operating. And so when you are still a child, but you are temporarily operating under that authority, and you come to your sibling and you're supposed to say, "Hey, mom just said for you to come in the house. She want to see you right away." Now, you've done your job. Whether or not they accept those instructions, that's going to be on them. It's going to be at their detriment. And when you report back to your mother and say, hey, I did what you requested, I told them that you wanted to see them, they chose to stay outside. At that point, she's going to go and intervene herself. And she's going to say something to the extent of, didn't I just tell you to come in the house? Didn't I just send your sister to tell you come in the house? Get your butt. We know how the story goes. We done been there. We done been the one giving the instruction and the one the instruction been given to. And we've been there. And there are also times when the mother gives that instruction to that child to go and tell them to come here. And the child realizes, ooh, I temporarily got a little bit of a authority. Let me sprinkle a little bit of me in this. Mama then told you, hey, go get them, tell them to come in the house. I need to see them right now. We go out there and be like, yo, and be ready to turn up. Mama said, get your baboon head shape, bamboo tea tree knot head in the, and we didn't win all across the world with all this other extra stuff that mama ain't even told you to say, which naturally will make that person be like, man, mama ain't say all that, man, gone somewhere. Because you didn't add it, you didn't sprinkled you on it. And so them receiving that instruction gets hindered a little bit. And now they're a little hesitant. Now they're a little, they're kind of taking, double taking at that instruction, and they're just a little bit more hesitant. But I say that to say, for those of us who are given instruction by God to talk to somebody or to tell somebody and give someone instruction, man, I feel like I'm just super sweaty. To be obedient, give the instruction that God gave you to give. Leave you out of it. Stop sprinkling you in there. What happens sometimes is we may know the person, it may be a family member, and so we know their history, we know them, and so we'll come in there and it'll be us giving the instruction instead of God speaking through us. And so we'll allow that to sort of determine how we talk to this person, how we interact with this person. And the reason I brought this up as well is because there are some people who feel like, I'm going to say what I got to say, and I don't care if I hurt your feelings, which is great, which is great. But I've noticed that everybody wants to be that person. Everybody is in the bold and direct. Who wants to be bold and direct? And everybody is in that line. And so it's no longer really a special attribute anymore because everybody and their mama wants to do it. Everybody want to be that person so bad. The bad part is nobody wants to be real direct and blunt to themselves. Sometimes God gives you instructions and gives you a thus says the Lord about you. Y-O-O. And a lot of us just be like, we the most unblunt, indirect when it comes to that. You can reach people by being obedient. Man, I'm so sweaty. There is moments and there are times where being blunt and direct is needed. There are moments where being a bit more brass is required. Sometimes we overdo things and we'll put a little bit too much of our personality or our spin on things and we run people away. There are times where being blunt and direct is needed. Sometimes it's just simply needed. But it's a space and it's a space and it's a door for that to happen. But a lot of us try to create that where there is no space for it. And so you just end up ruining opportunities. Where doors could open, you're closing them. And then you didn't cause destruction and then walked off and say, hey, that ain't my problem. I did what I was supposed to do. I was obedient. Whole time you wasn't though. Whole time you wasn't. Ain't nothing worse than you in school and you drop off your assignment. I'm looking for a sheet of paper. You in school and you done dropped off your assignment to the teacher, and whole time in your heart, in your mind, I aced that test. That was easy. That was man, that test right there, that was a breeze. Whole time you failed with a flying juicy F. Juicy flying F. But in your mind, I passed. I passed. It gets worse when there's nobody that is there to verify your grade. It gets worse when there's no verification. There's no process where what you did needs to be validated. That gets worse because now you can just self-proclaim things. I'm a straight A student. I do what I'm supposed to. I do my homework. I'm top of my class. And it gets worse because you got a lot of people out here self-proclaiming. You got a lot of people out here that's self-proclaiming to be prophets, and they not supposed to be. They may pose to be, or may be in line to be later on in life, later on down the road. But you didn't jump the gun. You didn't sprinkled you on everything that God done told you. Sometimes God ain't told you nothing, and then you didn't said he. You ever get a kid that run up to a sibling and say, "Mama said this, Mama said that," and Mama never said nothing? Hmm. So I wanted to record this video to say, if you find yourself identifying with one of these scenarios, stop doing it. If God is giving you an instruction to speak to somebody, speak to them the way that He has for you to do it and leave you out of it. If He speaks to you about something concerning somebody else, where it's like He showed you something that they're dealing with, He's showing you maybe a shortcoming of theirs, a situation where they're backsliding or addiction they may have, pray for them. And do not get on the phone with somebody else, because a lot of us will hear what God then told us and we'll take "thus said the Lord" and turn it into tea. And that is not what we're supposed to be doing. He didn't give you that information for you to steep it and make it into tea that you can sip and share with somebody else. Stop doing it. Ain't no special instructions on this video. None of that. Just stop doing that. You find yourself with that sudden urge to do it, don't. Just don't. Be obedient. Say what He told you to say. Leave you out of it. Stop sprinkling stuff on top. The presentation, the plating, and everything, that the way He set it up is perfect. It's tailor made for that person. That person may have certain food restrictions. He knows that, and He's prepared a meal just for them so they can be able to eat of it, be nourished, be restored, and be filled and fed. And you ruin it when you sprinkle you on top of it, because all those things that He did and tailor made for that meal is obsolete now because of you. So stop doing it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys soon. Peace.